Hello, everyone. Um, I hope all of you had a very happy holidays, and I hope you had a happy new year. So, what is the issue of the day? The issue of the day is Renee Good. Renee Good was shot to death by ICE agents. We're not sure where all the shots came from. I think there was either a second agent shooting at her or maybe a third agent. We're not sure yet. They're still conducting an investigation and analyzing the bullets. One very concerning thing that I would like to discuss in regards to Renee Good is the fact that they removed the state BCA from the investigation. That's right. The FBI removed the BCA from the investigation and won't let the state participate in um, in researching or investigating her murder. So they're not letting anyone know what's going on. They're covering it up, and they've already started with the rhetoric. The Trump administration has started with the rhetoric. They do not know how to be tactful, and they do not know how to control themselves. They're political animals. They're total animals. And that's not a compliment. That is an insult to animals. That is an insult to animals. Um, basically, basically what's happened is the the uh, the murder of Renee Good is not being allowed to be investigated by the Minnesota State BCA, which is the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. They're not allowed to participate. The FBI has excluded them and is wants to prosecute the case totally on a federal level, and they're probably never going to bring a trial against the agent who did this. So, not it involves ICE, so no justice for the victims if Trump can help it. And J.D. Vance accused Renee Good of being a terrorist and said that, and immediately smeared her as a terrorist and said this is a terrorist attack, that this was a deliberate, planned terrorist attack on their agent. Why is their agent still alive then, and why is Renee Good dead? That's a good question, isn't it? So why is it that Renee Good is dead and this agent is still alive who did this to her? Supposedly it was his quick thinking that saved him, but she was just trying to get away. She was just trying to escape from this agent. And because she was trying to escape from the agent, that's how this happened. Um, she made some mistakes. Her partner made some mistakes, and they antagonized the agent, and then tried to drive away, and that's when he shot her 3 times, or at least she was shot 3 times by various agents. So we don't know who's fired the gun first, second, and third. It's very hard to tell from the video who shot her. That's why they have to do the analysis. But if they leave the state BCA out of it, who's to say that the corrupted Trump administration won't cover up all the evidence and just blame Renee Good for the whole thing and excuse their agent from all wrongdoing, or their agents from all wrongdoing? Um, they claim that it was self-defense. If it were self-defense, then they would have to prove that she was trying her hardest to kill this agent. they would have to prove that she was trying to kill the agent, and she wasn't trying to kill the agent. She was just trying to get away as fast as possible with her vehicle. It was very similar to what happened to Philando Castile. You may remember Philando Castile from a few years ago, and well, actually more than a few years. It's been a while. It's been maybe 7 years. But Philando Castile, he was shot when he was trying to make an escape, and they accused him of trying to hit the police officer with his car, and that was why Philando Castile got shot, because he was trying to escape. And the same thing happened here. She was trying to escape. She was trying to get away from this ICE agent as fast as she possibly could. And we don't even know why he pulled them over. We don't even know why. They were parked near where the ICE agents had their car stuck in the snow. Okay, the ICE agents had their car stuck in the snow, and for some reason they pulled off from another street and stopped there. And they said that probably they were ICE observers. So they went there deliberately to see ICE, to observe what they were doing, to watch and to film or video whatever was going on. And so they were ICE observers, and they antagonized the officer. But the officer swore after they were done with the whole thing, after he had shot them, that he said effing bitch. So, and I bleeped out the word, the F word, but he said that, so that might reveal some of his mindset toward them, that he had felt malice toward them, and that's maybe why he shot them. But they said that the same agent was dragged by a car just a year ago, or maybe it was 6 months ago. It was 6 months ago. The agent was dragged by a car, and he felt hostility because he had been dragged by a car, and just one of those things. He was unhappy with anyone driving a car, that he was scared. And I can understand being scared of cars, okay? I can understand it. I deal with that every day, people driving recklessly. And people have to realize that your car can go faster than any pedestrian can. So if you drive recklessly, you're endangering the lives of pedestrians and other car drivers. So, because your car can go really fast, okay? But that's one part of it. Now, the other part is that she wasn't a terrorist, okay? That is a smear campaign. She wasn't a terrorist. She was just trying to get away as fast as she could. And her partner told her to drive, drive, drive. And then she turned her wheel away from the officer to try to get around him, which was pretty obvious. I mean, you see her turning the wheel in the video. She was trying to get around him and get away as fast as she could. And that's when he shot, she bumped him with her car. She bumped him. And he shot her, or at least he shot the first shot. And we don't know if the second and third shot came from other officers, but then he called her an effing bitch. And they called him big man and dude, or big guy or big man, something like that. Big guy or big man. That was her partner. She called him dude. So, and she said, I'm not mad. And they said, go ahead and look at the license plate. They were antagonizing him, and she began filming. The partner began filming him. She said, come at us, come at us. So she was, are you trying to come at us, come at us, come at us? And then then all of this took place where she told her to drive. And he was in front of the vehicle, which was another thing. They're never supposed to get in front of a vehicle, okay? They're never supposed to get in front of a vehicle because it's very unsafe. So, the whole thing was a mess. But she wasn't a terrorist. That's the main thing. She wasn't a domestic terrorist. She wasn't deliberately trying to kill him. She was trying to get around him. And she failed to get around him because her vehicle was too big. And she didn't estimate the amount she would have to move to get around him. He was just trying to get in front of her to block her from going. And so the whole thing was a mess. And the Trump administration, J.D. Vance, has jumped into this. He called her a domestic terrorist. He said that they were far leftist, that she was a far leftist lunatic. There was a domestic terrorist who went there with the deliberate intention of killing ICE agents. And all of that is completely false. Okay, she was a mother of 3. Yes, she was a Christian, but that shouldn't matter. And she was very, very straight-laced, not far out there or radicalized or radical or lunatic or anything. She was just a poet and a kind woman, and she shouldn't have been killed. And all of this that happened, and now that there's been some more shootings in Portland. Right now they're protesting in Portland because there were some shootings there. ICE agents shot a couple of people, and they're really mad. That might not be as big of a deal as what happened in Minneapolis, because Portland, they were actually tracking some gang members that were trying to kill them with their cars. So that was more serious. The guys that they were trying to track weren't good guys. But this in Minneapolis is a clear picture, a portrait of political ideologies clashing and leading to a tragedy. And all of this is laid right at the feet of Trump. Trump is responsible for the death of this young woman. Let's make no bones about it. He is responsible. He is responsible. Because Trump did not think about the consequences of his actions before he acted. Okay, he did not think, well, these ICE agents are going to run into people. They're going to be in danger. These ICE agents are being put into danger. And the people that they're exposed to are in danger also. And there could be a tussle. There could be a fight of some sort. And somebody could get killed. He didn't care. He didn't care. He was responsible for the death of this young woman. Another thing, I just wanted to discuss Maduro briefly. I don't care about Maduro, okay? I don't care what happens to Maduro. I don't care if they find him guilty. I don't care if he goes to the slammer along with his wife. I don't care. But what I do care about is that Trump did not ask Congress for permission for this military action against Venezuela. He did not ask anyone for permission. And I understand that he wanted the element of surprise. And I understand that it was a secret covert operation and that they didn't want anyone exposing what they were about to do so that Maduro could prepare. I understand that. And I understand that the last time that they had an operation, last time against Iran, that they told some Republicans but not any Democrats, and despite the fact that they told Republicans, the Republicans mouthed off about it anyway, and they were writing to people on that particular app that is for encoding messages, and that isn't secure enough for the federal government, so they got into trouble for that. The person who wrote the message about it. but it wasn't secure, it wasn't safe, it leaked to the media, and Iran was able to prepare before the strike. So I understand why they didn't tell any Congress people, but they, according to the law, whatever the law may be, they should include Congress in their actions. If they had had an active war with Venezuela, I mean, if they were in the middle of a war with Venezuela attacking America and America attacking back at Venezuela, then I could see having a covert operation that they don't tell Congress about if there was already a war. But this was out of the blue. This was initiating a war. And so that was very, very bad for them to not consult with Congress first and maybe ask for permission before they attacked. That might have been a good thing. Another thing I wanted to discuss was the Somalis. Okay, so there was a fraud case, and they made a really big deal out of this fraud case, especially the Republicans. They were going to town saying, oh, your tax dollars were spent on fraudulent daycare centers, and these Somalis were not providing care to children. They were not providing care. They were empty buildings that weren't being used, and they stole the money for the child care. At the Somalis did, and they're not even citizens of our country. They're just from Somalia, so we can attack them. And after this thing about fraud, well, actually slightly before the thing about fraud, Trump began mouthing off about Somalis, and he called them garbage. He called Somalis garbage, and he said, "Oh well, Somalis, they're all garbage." And then he said that all they do is complain. All they do is complain, and all they do is whine and complain and live off of welfare, and that he didn't want them in his country anymore. This is what Trump said. And I'll tell you something. I have a doctor who's Somali. And actually a couple of doctors who are Somali, but there's one that is the most important doctor to me who's a Somali. And I don't want her taken away. I don't want ICE coming and taking away my doctor. Is that what you're trying to do, Trump? Are you trying to take away my doctor? Don't take away my doctor. She's a good doctor. She's a good doctor, and she is not garbage. She does not whine and complain. She does not live off of welfare. She's a doctor. And that's what she does best, and she's one of their best doctors. So, as far as what Somalis go, he is talking directly to Ilhan Omar. Okay? He does not know any of these Somalis. He doesn't know what they do. Several of them are Uber drivers, and they perform a good service to society by being Uber drivers. You may not like Uber, you may not approve of taking money away from taxi companies, but Uber does provide a service that's good for people, and these Uber drivers, some of them are Somali, and they're good people. They're good, hardworking people that provide a service. So, as far as this goes, Ilhan Omar is the only one Trump is speaking to. And the mistake he's made is extrapolating from one person and then applying it to all the different people who happen to be Somali. It's bigotry against a whole ethnic group. Okay, that is bigotry. That is bigotry. And he knows better. He knows not to discriminate against Somalis. Okay, and here's another thing. Somalis are African Americans. And you know what's history of African Americans is in American history. They may not have ever been slaves, but they are African Americans, and it shows that he doesn't like people for the color of their skin. Okay, he's prejudiced. And saying that all this whole group got completely smeared, and he said that they're all garbage, that all they ever do is complain and whine and live off of welfare, and he doesn't want them in his country. Well, guess what, Mr. Trump? All you're garbage. All you ever do is whine and complain about Somalis and other ethnic groups, and we don't want you in our country. Take that, Trump. We don't want you in our country because you are a bigot, a total bigot. We don't want you around. We want you to go to Russia with your boyfriend Putin. Go on. Go on to Russia with your boyfriend Putin. We don't like you. But I don't want him taking my doctor away. What am I supposed to do? What do I do if he takes my doctor away? I won't be able to do anything without my doctor. And so this is a big concern for me. This is a big concern for me, and I do not want ICE in Minneapolis because they already killed someone. That could have been me. That woman who was killed, who by the way is a lesbian, could have been me. It could have been me that was killed by that ICE agent. Now, I would never drive away from an agent of the law, okay? I wouldn't try to get away. But that's the only difference between her and me. That I wouldn't try to get away from an agent of the law, and she tried to get away. But other than that, it could have been anybody. Anybody who was in a vehicle driving past ICE agents could have gotten shot to death. Because that's the way that ICE and similar organizations operate. They shoot first and ask questions later. And that is not a good way to run a government agency. So that's it. You guys take care. Try to stay warm out there. It's still cold. And certainly hope that Renee Good gets justice. There's no guarantee that she'll get justice, but it would be a good thing if she did get justice. And she won't get justice unless people push as hard as they can to get justice for Renee Good. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.